Live from PATV Studios, it's the Lyle Style Show. And now, the man with the most style, it's your host, Lyle Style.
Hey, wow, we here. Welcome to the Lyle Style Show. I'm back. It's been a while since I've been here. The last show we had, I had my twin on here. Had a twin on here. So you know how he was. So, but anyway, I want to welcome everybody back to my show. I have a special guest with me. He's the author. He wrote his first book. We're going to talk a little bit to him about his book and about how he got started. His name is Stephen Stonebraker, and his book is called Wrestling with Reasons. And so it's kind of based not on his life, but on other things that happened to him or whatever. So I'm gonna welcome to the show. Hey, Stephen, thank you, man.
Thank you very much, Lyle. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. I'm you ain't nervous now, are you?
No, not really.
Okay, good.
I'm all right.
Good, man, good. But because I've been talking for a while. We met, and you was very interesting to me when you were real nice to me, and we met, and I didn't know that you was an author, and you wrote a book.
Yeah.
And I was reading some of your books now. Wrestling with Reason. How did you come up with this particular name for this book right here, Wrestling?
Well, actually, when I first started writing the book, I had the title The Reason.
Okay.
And I sent it into a publisher, and they said that The Reason was already a title of a book already out. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't, because of copyright laws, I couldn't use that at all. So they asked me to come up with something else. Well, I had a buddy of mine read the book, and he used a metaphor that a lot of times in life, wrestling is a great analogy. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times in life, you're constantly wrestling with issues, wrestling with problems, wrestling with demons of doubt, wrestling with so many different things we have to wrestle with every day. Mm-hmm. And really what Wrestling with Reasons is about is trying to see that there are reasons in life where everything happens. And sometimes you don't want to accept those reasons, so you wrestle with them. And that's where the idea of Wrestling with Reasons came from.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Now I understand, because I read some of the book, reading a little bit here and there and stuff, and it's fascinating, because when I was reading the book, and then when I heard about wrestling, I said, Dad, maybe you popped in my head, because I know at one time when you was back in the day, when you was in high school, you used to wrestle here in Iowa for high school.
Yep.
So is some of this book based on some of your experiences growing up? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, there's some of the book that is very much me and very much from my life, and some of it's from other people's lives that I've observed, and then some of it is simply made up. So it's a mixture of about all of the above.
All of the above. So it's basically a fictional book. And this character, Dale Martin.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, I came up with the name of Dale Martin.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I had a very influential teacher named Cherie Murtaugh. And she was my English teacher and my creative writing teacher. Mm-hmm. And she always told me, because I even knew back then that I wanted to be an author, she always told me that writing your first book was a lot like having your first baby.
Oh, really?
Right. And I've always decided that if I ever get married and have a child, I really, really like the name Marty. I've always loved the name Marty. Mm-hmm. And my brother-in-law at the time, Eric, I was telling him I wanted to name my son Marty, and he asked me what I liked for a middle name, and I really liked Dell. And I wanted to name my first son Martin Dell. And he said to me, he goes, I like those names, but they sound so much better in the other order. Dell Martin.
Yeah.
And so the reason why I named the character Del Martin is because I think of my book a lot like having my first baby.
Oh, okay, yep.
So I want to name my first son Del Martin, so that's how the character in the story got the name of Del Martin.
Okay, right, because this is your first baby. This is your first book.
Is my first baby.
First published book.
Be careful with it. I'm a very protective father.
I appreciate that. Thank you for signing for me, and this is my copy. And now what made you come up with the background, the folk, because this is about this background has a wrestling, two people wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Actually, how that came about is
I don't know if I can show it.
Oh,
but
sure, yeah.
There it is.
How that picture came about was actually it was the publisher that came up with that. Mm-hmm. What I ended up doing is I had a picture. There was a guy from the University of North Carolina named Evan Sola who has this picture of when he won his second All-American award his junior year.
Yeah.
And I asked Evan if I could use that picture for my book, and he gave me permission to do that. But the problem was the resolutions of the picture didn't work out, and the publishing, when they needed to publish it on the publishing date, it didn't work out, so they just grabbed a random picture and used it.
Oh,
so
wow.
I actually had nothing to do with that picture.
Wow. Okay, yeah, okay. I mean, it works though. It really works.
It does. I
really
liked it a
works.
lot. I really liked the red picture with the black background, and the white lettering. A lot of that was the whole entire design of the book. I had very little to do with that.
Well, they did a good job. But,
They did. They really did.
But okay, basically the character Dale Martin, he's going through a lot of wrestling, a lot of crisis in his life. As I was reading some of the back of the book, said Dale Martin isn't happy. Life didn't turn out the way he wanted it, and he never got out of it what he put into it. And he's 40 years old, unmarried, no kids, and too old to start chasing his dreams. So this character that you're writing about kind of is going through a lot.
Yeah, he really is. Really, what the story is really about is I had some setbacks in my life at a certain time. I had a little sister that died, and that really affected my life in a lot of ways. And really, what the story's about, you have Del Martin, and he travels back in time and becomes this person named Buddy Thompson.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So what ends up happening is really to look at my own life. I sat down one day and I thought about myself. I thought to myself, I'm right here in the middle right now. So if I have an opportunity to see if my life were to go exactly the way I wanted it to go, or if it were to instead go the exact opposite way of what I wanted it to go, what would happen? Del Martin represents what would have happened to my life if I would have kept thinking negatively and kept thinking pessimistically.
Okay.
Buddy Thompson is where my life is going and what I hope happens in my life, thinking positively and thinking optimistically. So really, Buddy Thompson is like if my life would have turned out the exact way I wanted it to turn out, and Del Martin is my life if it had turned out like as worse as I could think of it to turn out.
Oh, okay.
So who I am is a combination of the two kind of meeting in the middle. Because nobody's life turns out perfectly.
No.
Nobody's life turns out completely horrible either. So really I'm a combination right in the middle between Buddy Thompson and Del Martin.
Oh, okay, wow. Well, I mean, this is good reading. I'm gonna continue to read this book. This is good reading, and I've read some of the one of the chapters where it talks about wrestling and how I always wanted to wrestle and what does it say about? I think it was the first chapter. It talks about wrestling and how if you could do anything, you focus on just winning the state championship. Dale Martin.
Right.
It's okay now. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, when I was in high school.
Did your dad tell you that? Did your dad say? Because I was reading.
Oh yeah. I imagine you're probably talking about the part where it talks about just being a simple person.
Right.
Having simple goals.
Exactly. That's what I was fascinated about that too.
Yeah, I tell you that is a lot my father and me. My dad. It's just being a Stonebraker. That's really what that means. It means to find something that you're really passionate about. Find something that means a lot to you. And just to give it everything you got in order to achieve it. And when I was in high school, I'm not an athlete whatsoever. I never had a natural ability as a wrestler whatsoever. And so really what I was a theater person, a speech and drama kind of guy, a nerd that tried to wrestle. That's really what I was.
Oh, wow. What? That's fascinating, man, because I could never envision you being like that, because you do have a build of well, now looking at it, because I never knew you back, but right now you have a build of a wrestler.
Yeah.
And I looked at you, I said, yeah, that guy used to wrestle. So wow, you told me that back in high school.
Well, I tell you what I lacked in natural talent and athletic ability, I made up for in heart.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, our wrestling team and our coaches at the end of the year would vote on who they thought was the most dedicated, hardworking wrestler in and out of the room. And I won that as a freshman, I won that as a junior, and I won it as a senior. Missed it by one vote as a sophomore.
Oh,
so
okay.
I got that. And at the end, it was one of those things where you look at life a lot differently as an 18-year-old kid than you do as a 28-year-old man.
Right, exactly.
When I was 18 years old and I lost, I got third place
That's good.
It's decent. But if I would have won one more match, I would have got to go.
Oh.
So the top 2 kids got to go.
Yeah.
And I had to stay home because I got 3rd place.
Oh, wow.
So it's like it's kind of comforting because you're just one match away. It's still so heartbreaking because you lost that match.
Right.
And so I didn't get to go. And at the time, it was very devastating. And one of the reasons why it was so devastating to me is because when my sister died, about 5 years prior to that, I promised her that I was going to go to state.
Okay. Oh,
So not getting to go was very. I'm not sure how far you are in the story, but in my story here, I changed in my real life. It was my phone going off.
Oh, your
I
phone.
thought I had that turned off.
Oh,
I apologize about
man,
that.
it happens. It happens to me, the show all the time.
Yeah,
I
very
just
sorry
turned my
about
phone
that. I
off.
could have sworn I turned this off, but it's off now.
So you got.
What I was going to say real quick though is in the story, what happens here is. I had Dell's mother die. Dell's mother died of cancer when he was in high school.
Okay, right, yeah.
And he had promised her that he was going to go to state, and he never ended up making it, so it was devastating to him in that way. So in real life, what happened is my sister died, but in the story, it's Dell's mother.
Oh, okay. Yep. So in real life, you never, because your dad talked about being simple things.
I'm sorry that we got off track there for a minute. I apologize.
No, that's all right, though. That ties up to what you're talking about.
Yeah, but really, that's just kind of the way that I've always been raised. My dad always really instilled the hard work thing. He always said to me that it was just something that was known. Like you're a Stonebraker. It's important that you look at my grandpa and my great grandma, just from generation on down, from generation to generation. It's always been being a Stonebraker meant to give it your absolute best and work as hard as you can. That's how we get things in life.
Wow.
We through hard work, and that's really what that message meant there.
Wow, well, it's a good message for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good message for myself. Yeah. I mean, because truthfully, hard work does matter.
It does.
It really does. Nothing's not handed to you like on a silver platter.
Absolutely.
You have to work hard, and you appreciate it more if you work harder at what you're doing, and so you can appreciate it more because you earned it. And just like in wrestling, you took a little bit of your wrestling ideas of what you're going through in wrestling with this character, and then put it in a metaphor, like you said, we talked about earlier about people wrestling with demons, wrestling with different things in their life. So this character is wrestling with a lot of different things. Now he didn't achieve his dream as being state champ, right? State champ, but he's going on his journey. It's like you're going on your journey.
Well, really, what the book is about is, in my life, I've met a lot of people who have visions, and they think to themselves that I've got to get married, for example, by this age, or I'm never going to get married, or I've got to achieve this ultimate goal by this age, or it's never going to happen. Well, Wrestling with Reasons really is. It's a book for people who may be going. I think it'd be a great book for somebody going through like a midlife crisis. And it's just a book about putting things in perspective. Like most of us are. I think the average human being lives to about 75, 80 years old.
Right.
So you can't be looking at your life when you're in your mid-20s or when you're even in your 40s or even in your 50s as if it's, oh my God, things are over now, because they're not. You've got a whole entire life to live. So just because the character Del Martin wasn't a state champion when he was 17, 18 years old, doesn't mean that there aren't going to be things that are just as great or even greater to happen to him later on. And you've got to keep a positive attitude and optimistic outlook on life in that way, because if you think to yourself that just because, like for example, like you really want to be married by the time you're 25 and things don't work out, now you're 26, like, oh my God, I'm not married yet.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal,
Right.
because you might meet the woman of your dreams when you're 52, or when you're 60, or when you're 90.
Yeah.
You never know when that's going to happen. So a lot of it's keeping things in perspective and realizing that there is no time limit.
So, like you said, that's a perfect way of thinking about that, about your life, and about, it doesn't matter if you're 18 or if you're 90, whatever, you can still find your dreams. You can still do your dreams. It's not set in stone until you're dead.
Well, absolutely. Like, there's so many people out there. Like, I'll get people in my cabs sometimes, people that are like in their 30s or their 40s, and they'll say that, like, they don't like their job, don't like where they're at in life right now, but it's, I'm too old to go back to college. I'm too old to do this. No, you're not. You're not at all. I mean, I realize that there are obstacles, like people have children, people have other responsibilities and obligations, and I realize that. But really, when you want something out of life, I can't guarantee you're going to get it, but the only reason why you're not going after it and not trying for it is usually because of yourself.
Yeah. Amen.
Usually. Yeah. I will give credit because there are times when there's other roadblocks in front of you.
Well, yeah, but you know, roadblocks are roadblocks. You know, there's sometimes you have bumps on the road in your life to push you ahead. So, because if everything was smoothly in your life, you'll never, to me, appreciate things. You know, if things were handed to you the silver platter, you never, you know, been through any diversity in your life.
A lot of times, like when you look at successful people, when you look at people that have achieved a lot in their life, you don't see their entire backstory. So it seems like the path to success is like this, when in reality it's like this.
Up and down, up and down. Yep. You never know what they've been through.
Exactly.
Stephen, so, I mean, now you are also in the makings of writing another book. Now, okay, do you have a title to the book?
Yes.
What's the name?
The working title at the moment is The Best of Friends.
The Best of Friends. Now, it's a kind of a sequel to this book right here?
Not at all.
It's a whole different...
It's a whole new ball game.
A whole new ball game,
Yep. Literally, we went from the dwellings of a 40-year-old man, former wrestler, to two best friends, and something really bad happens to one of the friends, and the other friend has to go to hell and back to get him out of it.
Wow, another deep one, huh?
Yeah, I do write that a lot.
What is going on with...
My mom is always telling me, she's always telling me, why can't you just write something simple for people to read? Why do you always have to make things so damn deep and so hard to understand? But I like doing that. I like making people, because to me, I was always told that as a writer, you have to have purpose. You have to have reason behind what you do. And I like making people think deeply, making people think critically. I like making people take an issue, take something that's most of the time seen as something, and completely turning it around, completely looking at it in a different way from what you ever looked at it before.
I like that. I like that thought. Now, wow, time flies when you have fun.
Doesn't it?
My goodness, man, you've been.
I don't even see the clock. Where's that?
I know. Yeah, he just put it up. You know, on this show, my producers or directors always gives me. See, sometimes we have like a little time clock right there.
Yeah.
But we didn't get a chance to put it up to that. So now he has to put his little sheets up. So Lyle, we only got 10 minutes left in the show.
All right.
So, okay, 10 minutes. Okay, then. But now you're okay. Now, what's going on with your personal life, young man?
Oh, my personal life.
Now, are you have kids?
No, I don't.
No kids, man?
No kids.
Oh my! Well, you're still young, man.
Yeah.
So no kids. No secret person. No special person that you.
Not yet, anyway. No, not yet.
I have some guy like yourself, man.
I make him up in stories all the time.
Boy, I see that.
Like here.
And you know what?
I tell you what, that's how the character of Lindsay came about.
Really?
The character of Lindsay in here is, I thought to myself, if I could have the absolute perfect woman, what would she look like?
Okay, yes.
What would she act like? What would she sound like? That is Lindsay.
Oh, shoot. So, that's going to be a hard person for you to get. I mean, because. You know, no woman's perfect now.
No. So, well, she's not either. Yeah, if you read the story, she makes mistakes too.
Okay, but so you got her looks. You got her looks. You got her brains.
I tell you what's funny. What's funny about that is, I had one of my best friends back home read Wrestling with Reasons. His name is Joel, and he told me after he read the book, he said to me, you do realize that there's no relationship in the world that's quite this perfect, right? I know. And I said, that's the power of fiction. Yeah. You can make it however you want.
You can make it how you want. That's right, man. This is your thing. This is your fantasy, so to speak. But she does come with problems, though. Which is good. Which is good, though.
Yeah, I always like one of the pieces of advice I was given one time been given it a couple of different times from a couple of different very successful authors, is they always told me, they said, above anything else, your characters have got to be believable. You've got to make believable characters. And I'm not sure how good of a job I did, but I tried very hard.
You did a pretty good job, because I was fascinated with Dale Martin.
And I'll tell you a little funny story here. I hope this doesn't make me sound crazy.
Okay.
When I was writing this book, I don't know if you've met the characters of Sandy Diego yet.
No.
Meet him yet?
No, I haven't. But I'm reading it right now, so.
I got to the point where I thought of these people in this book in terms of being so real that I would find myself trying to write on their walls on Facebook. I'd find myself trying to grab my cell phone out of my pocket to call them up. They became so real to me. The characters in the story became so real to me that I thought of them as real people.
Wow, now that's deep. Now that shows you that you went deep into writing this book.
Oh, absolutely.
Where it became that believable to you.
It did, and I think it helps the reader when they're reading the book. Now, granted, there are some things in the book, like obviously time travel can't really happen in real life.
Right.
Don't want to give away any spoilers, but there's certain other things that happen in the story that obviously could never happen in real life.
Okay.
So you do have a lot of those science fiction. It's not a science fiction book, but there are things that go along those elements.
Okay, which is good. Well, which it kind of gets a person's attention, to say, wow, look at this, But now your other book is you're doing your other book. You titled it what now?
The Best of Friends.
Best of Friends, and. So, is it done? Is it done, or you just trying to? Or is it in the makings right now?
The first rough draft is completed. I've rewritten the ending about 20 times. I tell you, I found as an author, and I'm not sure how many other authors would say this, the ending is the most difficult thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's subconscious. I think it's your brain saying you're having so much fun writing, so much fun creating, that you don't want to stop doing it.
Yeah.
So when you have to make up the ending, you realize that I've got to put this story to rest.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I think that makes it difficult. I have an editor right now. He lives out in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
His name is Zach Poppin, and he is helping me edit it. I had another editor. I always like to go through a couple of different editors.
Right. Oh, well, yeah,
so
yeah.
Mrs. Murtaugh I was telling you about first helped edit the book first. I know he's taking a second look at it, and we're just kind of going through things, going through some changes. I had a fellow author here in town, Joseph Dobrian, read the book, and he has given me a lot of valuable advice on things to maybe add, things to maybe change, and maybe things to maybe cut.
Oh, good. Man, I am looking forward to you being successful in what you're doing. No, you will be, because you have to drive for it.
Thank you.
You get to drive for it. I mean, you are a storyteller.
Yeah.
And that's what makes authors good, because they can tell stories, and they can get people's attention telling those stories. And you do a good job of doing that,
I appreciate
And I can believe that you drive a cab. I mean, that's your day job.
Yep, for right now.
For right now, day job, and wow. And but you know what? I mean, you're gonna find that person. You'll find that right person in your life, man.
And I tell you, driving a cab may not be the most lucrative job in the world, but talk about inspiration for being a writer.
Oh, right.
You meet so many different people.
Oh, I'm quite sure you do.
So many different stories. I got so many different stories. I got stories that can make you laugh, stories that would scare you, stories that warm your heart. You name it. Everything under the sun has happened to me in that cab.
Wow, man. Now that could. I just got premonition right there. That could be your third book right there. Your experiences, man.
You just hit a nail on the head. Actually, under the I wouldn't really call it advice. Maybe just more. I guess suggestion would be the right word to use. Under the suggestion of a friend, I just mentioned his name earlier, Joseph Dobrian, suggested to me. He said, you have a lot of interesting things happen in your life, and you're quite good at telling nonfiction and writing nonfiction. So really what I've done is, just for fun, every time I think of a really good story, something I think somebody would want to hear, I write it down. And what I want to have happen is, after I've written a few other novels and hopefully taken off and gotten some success, and people are like, I want to know who this guy is. I want to learn about this guy. I'll have this collection of stories, to tell them about like who I am and the experiences that I've had in my life.
Wow, that's wonderful. See, I can't wait to your second book. You know, when your second book come out, you come back onto the show.
I will, absolutely.
Definitely come back on the show. Your first book is real nice. For your first book, you did a good job.
Thank you.
So I appreciate it and whatnot. So, so you know what? Dang, man, time goes by fast.
Are we done already?
Yeah, yes. Man, thank you, Stephen, for coming on the show, man.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all success in the world. I know you will have it. And, you know, definitely when your second book come out, just let me know. Come out, we can talk a little bit about that and see how that goes and whatnot. You know, in life, we all wrestle with things, just like this young man's wrestling with reason. That's a beautiful name for a book. You know, people wrestle with different things in their life, ups and downs, crisis, non-crisis, whatever. But as Stephen's talking about, even though we wrestle with things, sometimes we got to realize that, you know, life goes on. We have the reasons for it, we go on and we do good. Life doesn't stop. You do not have a reason just to stop and just quit. Sometimes you need to get up off your behind, whatever, and kind of do your thing and go on and be successful. Just like this young man, Stephen, he's going to be successful after one day. He's going to be well known because he has a vision. He has to go, doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 16, you could be 90. You still can follow your dreams. I talk about that all the time on my show, follow your dreams. Stephen's doing his dream. And I want everybody out there to follow your dream. Until next time, this is Lyle Style. I want to say keep styling and profiling. I want to give a good shout out to my girl, Kathy. She's found her dream. She has my heart. I love you, Kathy. Take care of yourself. You want to shout out to somebody?
Yeah, what the heck. I want to always give a big thank you to my parents, my mother and my stepdad, Barry, who have taught me that while in life you have to work very hard, you also have to find the moments to have fun. Mm-hmm. They've taught me a lot about that. I want to give a big thank you to my dad, who busted his butt every day of his life, so that way opportunities like the ones that are going to come to me will happen.
Amen. Beautiful. Keep styling and profiling. Until next time, we'll see you on the Lyle Style Show. We out of here.